Mike here, and in today's episode we will discuss the printing of your work. Let's move on. Print or not to print? And I would say print. A couple of weeks ago I made this short and Instagram reel about printing your work. I've asked a question: if you print your work? As you know, I am printing my work because there is no better way to look at your photos than have them printed. Most of the time when you are looking through your photos, you're probably scrolling down on Instagram or on the PC. And what if I would tell you there is much better way to looking at your photographs, to looking at your work and your art. Even though I am mostly publishing my work on Instagram, I also very often print my work. And to be honest, it doesn't even matter if it has a large format, is I don't know, A4, A3, 40 by 30 centimeters, or it's the smallest 10 by 15, even 8 by 13 centimeters format. It doesn't matter, trust me on that one. Scrolling through Instagram where the photos are really size of like this one doesn't pay enough justice to our art, to our work, to our photographs. It does not matter if you are considering yourself an artist or documentary photographer, photojournalist. You always should be aiming to show your photos the best as you could. And let's be honest, that is not the best way to present your photos. I have a couple of prints with me right now here. These are prints just from a couple of weeks. I'm trying to order my prints very regularly, so once a month probably I'm ordering 100-200 pieces of printed photos. The format here, 13 by 18 centimeters, works best for me. It's still easy to store and it shows a ton of detail. This is probably the strongest advantage that prints have over the Instagram. Every print, even in the format 13 by 18 like here, or smaller or even larger, that's totally different story, will show you much more detail than you have on this tiny screen. Print tend to be very forgiving, so if you have very little sharpness problem, there is the image is not enough sharp, or you have the exposure problem, maybe it's touch too light or tight too bright, or it's touch too underexposed. On print it won't be so much visible. So yes, print your work. It's the best way to preserve your photography. It's the best way to keep your photography alive. So there is various formats of prints, obviously. What works best for me doesn't necessarily be working for you as well. So print your work, but keep in mind that you need to find the best solution for you. And remember, we shouldn't be the slaves for the little square formats, little square screens. We should be aiming to show our photography as best as we can. To this moment we were discussing just the regular prints. But there is another way that you can archive and showcase your work. It's making a photo books. I am not talking about the monographies, but I'm talking about really small pocketable books that you can quickly use to show your work on the streets. I have prepared two small books with me here. And these books are very helpful on the street. Small format makes it very pocketable and you could take it everywhere you go. You are just throwing it inside the camera bag, inside the pocket for the documents or something like that. And in case when you will be photographing on the street and you want to ask someone, you want to take street portrait of some person, and instead of just scrolling through your phone and trying to find your best photos that you can present to the person that you want to photograph, you just have this book and you are very quickly can find picture that you love and you can present it. This little book, for example, is the collection of street portraits that I have taken in the last year. It consists of around 30 photographs that I have always close to me, that I always have this book when I am going out, when I'm shooting out, I always have this book with me. A couple of times already it saved my ass, because when I wanted to find quickly the example photographs or to present my portfolio, I have that. And I just took it out of the bag and showed, hey, this is my work, this is what I do. I'm not a creep. I'm not asking you to take your photograph because you look funny or something like that. Absolutely not. I think you look fantastic. And I have portraits like this already in my collection, my portfolio. So please, can I take your picture? And usually people, when seeing this, they saying yes. It's very quick, very convenient, very comfortable way to present your photos. So we already discussed having your work printed in usual format, so just print. And we also discussed having your work printed as a little photo book that you can have always with you, that will allow you to present your work very quickly to the person that you want to take a photograph. Okay, to sum up the things, you should print your work. I don't want to, or the other way, I don't want to tell you that you should do something, because I am not from this. I am not to telling you what you should or shouldn't do. For me, in my honest opinion, the printing your work is the best way to present your pictures to the other people, to present your pictures to yourself as well, because when you're going through them, it's much better to see the details, to see the colors, to just to have that in your hands. Couple of things to the end. Instagram doesn't pay justice to our photographs because the screen is too small. And let's not to lie to ourselves. The Instagram and the scrolling through the pictures on the mobile phone is today the most popular way to look into the photographs. Of course, it doesn't pay enough justice to our work. I very often tend to zoom on Instagram to look the photos at the better resolution, but still it is a smartphone screen, which is not very big. The other thing, if you are very often photographing on the streets, and if you are often asked by the people why are you photographing, or if you asking people that if you can do pictures of them, if you can take a picture of them, do this. Do the very small photo book, very pocketable format, and take it with you anywhere you go on the streets and anytime when you go on the streets. Disclaimer, this is not my idea. Shout out to Samuel Lintaro, Samuel Street Life. In one of his movies he mentioned this idea, and I thought it is a really great idea to have it with you. You don't need 1,000 photos to show your work, to showcase your work on the streets. If you enjoyed this video, visit me on Instagram, leave the follow there maybe if you like, and stay with me for longer here, because I am trying to take this YouTube game seriously. And it's unbelievable how long I was thinking and what if I should do this. See you in the next one. Bye.